Happy Wednesday, everybody. It's the Prop Queen, Ariel Epstein, taking you until 6 p.m. Eastern time here on the Prop Queen pod. I totally forgot to feed Marley before the show, so she probably is going to get annoying at some point. We're going to talk with Tom Vecchio later today in about 8 minutes, and we're going to talk some NBA and early Thursday night football props, a little bit of hockey as well, and then Coach James Young at 5:30 p.m. Eastern time going to talk some NBA, obviously. NBA, TNF, NHL, and what did I say? NBA, TNF, and NHL, I guess. I guess MLB too. But we'll get to that in a little bit. I'll ask Tom what his thoughts are on betting the World Series. Kind of over it. Talking all you need to know about props tonight. I'm kind of over it, honestly. And obviously the show's sponsored by Prizepicks. So shout out Prizepicks. Happy hump day, Lewis Creech. The Dodgers lose. They very much did last night. That was an atrocity. I guess I'll go through a little bit of last night's World Series. To be honest, I ended up shutting it off. I was kind of bored. I'm sure Mark didn't shut it off. But last night, I kind of was like, all right, this game was at like 5-1 at one point. I shut it off. Just to look at the box score. So the Jays win 6-2. They end up winning as underdogs. Shohei Ohtani was like a heavy, like almost minus 180 favorite yesterday. Ohtani ends up going 6 innings, allowing 4 earned runs. Still got 6 strikeouts. 6 hits allowed, so he goes over 6 hits allowed. Shane Bieber, 5 1/3, 4 hits allowed, 1 earned run, 3 strikeouts, going under his strikeout prop. Went over the walks and ended up with 3 walks. Remember, yesterday's fishy line was the Shane Bieber walk prop. I said this at 2.5 is really high for Shane Bieber, who hasn't gone over 2.5 yet this season. And I was like, that's really fishy. We should take the over or nothing. It makes no sense when you have a 2.5 that's never hit before. And then all of a sudden it hit. So Shane Bieber goes over 2.5 walks with 3, but he did pitch well. He doesn't care, but we care. I thought that was pretty telling also. Some of the popular bets, Mookie Betts got a hit yesterday, but we did not go over 1.5 hits, runs, and RBI. Will Smith over 4, so he also did not do well. It was obviously Vladdy. It was Vladdy night last night. Goes 2 for 4, 2 runs scored, 2 ribbies, and a homer. Shohei Ohtani did not drive in a run. He went over 3 yesterday, and that's so 4 of the 6 times prior to yesterday, Shohei Ohtani drove in a run on a night that he pitched at home. So that was an interesting stat that didn't hit yesterday. Jimenez did end up going over yesterday. And of course, everyone convinced me to do Mookie Betts, I think. So that was fun. I might have done Jimenez too, but I didn't end up winning any of my Prizepicks lineups because the NBA sucked last night. At least the bets that I chose last night. Then I got a really nice text from a friend of mine who said, don't be down on yourself about the NBA because you won me some money last night. So, oh no. Marley, you good, baby? Mar, I got her this like stick that's like a big chew toy for a dog. So it's like she thinks it's a stick that you got outside, but she didn't. Marley, are you okay? I have to make sure she's breathing. I did do Jimenez. Okay, I did Jimenez. And that one hit. I don't think my Prizepicks lineup hit last night, though, because of the NBA. I'm going to check. I did check it this morning, so I'm pretty sure I lost. Why did it log me out of Pickett? I don't like that it logged me out of Pickett. That's very annoying. Come on. I got a new phone, and oh gosh, this is very annoying. I got a new phone, and now everything logged me out. Now it's telling me that an unknown error has occurred. So I think Pickett's down, which isn't great. Is this going to work? Great. So Pickett's down. So that's fun. Anyway, is Marley okay? My dog ate a plastic key and was upset for a few days at the vet. Oh, should I take the toy away? It's not plastic. It's like a really big piece of wood. So hopefully she's fine eating like this piece of wood. Maybe I'll take a little bit of a break when Tom Vecchio comes on in 2 minutes and remove the wood from her and have Tom just talk. By the way, on Friday, Mid-Major Matt is going to be hosting the show, and Monday, and then next week, Tom Vecchio is going to be hosting the show from Thursday to Friday, talking all things you need to know about the NFL, Major League Baseball, etc. I'm excited to get Tom's thoughts on the World Series tonight. So now the series is tied at 2 apiece. We've got one game left in LA before this thing goes back to Toronto. Should be a ton of fun if it does, and I'm sure it will. NBA, what trends have stood out to you guys so far in the association? Because I'm just annoyed with this league at this point. I feel like enough's enough with all these stupid injuries, and every day I'm like, I don't know who's in, who's out. What we know about who's in the NFL, my boy Lamar Jackson is in. Officially official. He's going to be playing on Friday against the Miami Dolphins. Thursday against the Miami Dolphins. So tomorrow night, Lamar Jackson is going to be out there for the Baltimore Ravens. Thank God. That Bam, see, it did let us down. That was one of my favorite bets of the day. I can't believe that Bam didn't hit for us last night. Reeves over points prop every game. That's gone over. Rui Hachimura has been really good too. Don't sleep on Rui Hachimura. We'll talk about that a little bit later in the show. Those are the stats, of course, without Luka and LeBron have been really nice. That's the thing in the NBA. Even though we've had all these injuries, using prop.cash to see which trends are viable with players out has been super helpful for finding some really good edges. So we'll look at some of those a little bit later on in the show. I'm just so sick of it. I need to go away on vacation and then come back to the NBA caring. Like someone said to me, don't sleep on your NBA props. They're doing really well. I'm like, thanks, except every sport, like I said, the beginning of every sport is always really hard to handicap. It's especially hard in the NBA because no one wants to play, unlike every other sport at the beginning of the season when people actually care to play their sports. Someone who always cares to show up is Mr. Tom Vecchio. Tom is joining the show right now. Tom, happy Wednesday. We do have Thursday Night Football tomorrow. We've got a little bit of hockey tonight, NBA. But first, let's start with the World Series. I'm kind of over it. Like from a betting perspective, I feel like every time I'm going to the same players now with Mookie Betts and Will Smith, I feel like everyone's betting those same players and they haven't been coming through the last couple of days. How do you continue approaching betting the World Series as we go forward?
It's certainly tough. I was on Tommy Edman the 2 nights ago to have a hit, and he went 1 for 8 and, took him, I don't know, 15, 16 innings. He finally came through. So I'm happy to get that through. I also had over 5.5 total games for the series. So that is already cash. That's already graded as a win, which is great. I don't know if I want to bet anymore because the fact that I needed 16 innings to cash a Tommy Edman hit prop and I won the over 5.5 games already, I'm not sure I want to be too involved anymore. I will say if I'm betting anything, I won't be laying juice. I will 100% be using I believe it's a 30% FanDuel boost that they have for this. So if I can find something with Ohtani and get it up to plus money, that I may take a shot on just because it's a, I'll be getting plus money.
Ohtani needs his day off tomorrow.
I sure, absolutely. No doubt about it. So I may just take something small, but in terms of like having a conviction, it's basically out the window at this point.
Yeah, the MLB at this point, I'm just in it to enjoy like what we're watching with these players and these games with tied up at 2 in the series. And some people thought this would be over in 5. I thought Toronto would definitely put up a fight. I like that you had the over 5.5. This one's going to go back to Toronto. And I just, again, can't get myself at this point because pitchers are going to start to get pulled. We have an off day tomorrow. There's just so many variants that, and I hate hitter props as much as we've been hitting some RBI props and runs scored props. Oh, it's been a lot. But okay, hockey started.
Yeah.
I know that there's not a lot going on tonight. I'm going to go make sure my dog's not choking on this new toy.
I will say tonight, if you have to go step away.
I'm going to put you in and you talk about any trends, anything that stood out as the hockey season started.
Yeah. Let's just start with tonight for the Maple Leafs. Austin Matthews is plus 125 for a goal tonight. I will say I think that's that's a good price on him. And he's coming off a game, high volume of shots. He had 5 shots in the first period last night, and he's constantly pushing that forward. 125 going up against Columbus, I think, is objectively good. We're not going to get much better than that. We're never going to get someone like Austin Matthews at 150, 140. We'll never even get 145 on him. But, there are times when Austin Matthews is plus 100, plus 105 for a goal. And, what we have a 6.5 over under with the juice to the over at minus 128, I'll take a high volume shooter that hasn't scored in a while, especially that we're getting a good number at it. So that would be my only take on tonight's game. I know we had the Frozen Frenzy last night where all 32 teams were in action with 16 games. We'll be back tomorrow with a full slate. As for overall trends, we haven't seen, I wouldn't say I've seen anything that's been super stand out, at least from a league level. What about a Leafs Raptors Jays moneyline parlay? Listen, if you want to go and back all the Toronto teams, I think that's totally fine if you want to do that. Leafs, looked a little bit shaky last night. Let's just call it what it was. The Flames have been struggling to start the season, and certainly pushed them, and they needed a late goal by Domi to come away with the win for that. They're on a back-to-back, but Columbus is also on a back-to-back. Columbus is certainly a pesky team. They're a team that was right on the outside of the playoffs last year. I expect them to be in that kind of same spot, wild card, pushing towards that this year. The goals should be coming tonight. That's the only thing I'd be looking at. And I will say, if I could just get his shot prop real quick, Kirill Marchenko is he's been moved up to 3.5. So I like Marchenko on the Blue Jackets. If it was 2.5, I would be willing to lay minus 150 on over 2.5 shots for Kirill Marchenko, but that's only if you can find that line.
I know that in the chat we were seeing some questions. I know that Mark was asking like Leafs, Raptors, Jays moneyline parlay.
I would say the weakest link on that, it actually might be the Raptors, right? Like Raptors going up against Houston. Houston obviously has high expectations this year. They're off to a slow start. I know they got their first win the other night against the Nets, but the Raptors, I would say, would be the weakest link. The Leafs could absolutely come away with the win, even though I kind of do like the Blue Jackets tonight. And then the Jays, despite the fact that it's Snell, like it's the World Series, anything can happen. If Snell gets pulled early and that terrible Dodgers bullpen comes into play, the Jays can absolutely put up runs.
Let's talk about what we've got tonight in the association. Cade Cunningham, you're going with an under.
I know. Someone just mentioned that. Jane Main, 34, Cade under points and PRE every game. I don't know if he read my mind. I don't know if you gave him a tip early, but I like Cade under. And I do think Cade Cunningham is a really solid player, but he's been off to a really bad start this year. And, digging into some of his numbers, and I will say it's a 4-game sample size. He has a total of 72 field goal attempts taken. So we are dealing with a very, very small sample size. But he's shooting 36% from the field this year, and he's averaging 20 points. Last year, he was up at 46% and scoring 26 points. The year before that, 44%, 22 points. So he's shooting 36%. This is the worst year of his career, right? And it's only 4 games, but every year he's been over 40%. So whether it's something that he's dealing with, a slow start, or getting other players involved, whatever it is, when he's averaging a combined, 33-ish PRA and his prop is sitting up at 39.5 or 40, and he's shooting so terribly, I can't buy into wanting him to essentially jump 10 plus to get to 40, 41 for me to be comfortable. And we have to look at the matchup versus Orlando. This is not a super high total. Both teams are, I'm going to say, in the top half-ish of the league when it comes to defensive efficiency. Also, these teams play relatively slow. So nothing is leaning me towards the over for.
Well, whenever anyone plays the Magic, I don't want to bet on any overs anyway, because they're a slow-paced team and they're really defensively focused.
Yeah, so I take, the way I described it, at least in the NBA, you had a little, segment about that right before I hopped on, but early season, let's call it the first third of the season, it is all about unders for me. Like, I will take overs on a game, but I won't take overs on player props. Like 99 times out of 100, I'm taking unders on player props. In the last third of the season, I will take overs on player props. And it comes down to beginning of the season, players are, I'm not going to say messing with the rotation, but they're experimenting. Like, this is the time for them to figure out what works, what doesn't work. When do we bring this guy off the bench? Do we need this, double big lineup? Do we need more shooters? So a player that is projected for, let's just say 36 minutes, sometimes he only plays 30 or 28, and you're going to say, okay, 30, he was supposed to play 36 or projected for 36. That's not that much of a difference, but 6 minutes is, let's call it 3 or 4 possessions per minute times 6, and a player that has a high usage rate, that's taking away so many field goal attempts, so many assists or rebounds. Then we have the blowout factor, which I think is higher in the first third of the season. And then we also have the injury factor. which is okay. Oh, let's just say it's not a serious injury where he like knocked knees with someone or rolled his ankle. Theoretically, he could come back, but there's also the thinking of, oh, we don't need to push him out there. It's the end of October. It's the beginning of November. Why not just give him the rest of the game off? We have a day off tomorrow and he'll be ready to go for the weekend. No need to push him out there. So that leads to more and more unders.
Early on in the season has been really hard because the NBA nobody seems excited about playing in the beginning of the season. A lot of stars are hurt. Yeah. I know that the best way to take advantage is by looking at who's getting those minutes. Who are some players that you have taken advantage of because of injury?
So you were talking again before, Austin Reeves. Like, he is just shooting. And you also mentioned you obviously can't just look at the sample size of like what has he done as what's he doing on the season? What did he do last year? You have to look at the specific scenario when LeBron and Luka are out. Look at the usage differential. Look at the field goals attempted per 36 minutes, whatever it is. So I would say look to him. Cat didn't look great last night, and Cat was questionable or doubtful coming into.
He's been injured all the beginning.
Yeah, the season opener. So, like Brunson already has super high numbers. You're never going to get a discount on his points or PRA, whatever it might be. But, there's a thinking that his usage will be pushed even higher just because he has to. Like, he has to be the engine of the offense even more so. You could be looking there. And then I also looked at teams. I've been taking some Trae Young unders just because with Porzingis, when he first got there, it's like, listen, the offense, it may be a little bit shaky, might be a little bit weird because they're trying to get everyone acclimated, everyone on the same page, and then push things forward. So I'd be looking for star players just to give up a little bit when there are new players on those rosters, just because, I got to distribute the ball, get everyone worked into the offense.
Speaking of the Hawks, since Porzingis is in and out all the time because of this PODS disease that he has, every day he's questionable. Some days he'll play, some days he doesn't. How long are you waiting? Is it going to make such a difference in the way that you approach Hawks games when it comes to the Porzingis status?
He is good defensively, so that does play an impact. But as long as they're getting up and down and high in pace, they're gonna score. And as of now, I wouldn't say there's like anything to take away from it. A 4-game sample size, 5-game sample size, I wouldn't draw anything from that. We're going to see games where Porzingis plays 20 minutes and he's like hyper efficient in those 20 minutes and he takes 15 shots and he hits 10 of them and he's flying over props. And there's going to be times where he gets out there and he doesn't look good and then they just pull him because he was questionable coming in and they have 2 days off. So they're just like, hey, let's just give him some rest. So I wouldn't like plant the flag in anything until Christmas.
That's when I wish I could start betting the NBA, but unfortunately in this industry, we have to start betting it now. And I would rather just say, hey, let's just wait until Christmas. But the sport that I love to bet any time of the year is the NFL, and Thursday Night Football is tomorrow. Miami Dolphins hosting the My Baltimore Ravens. It is the first time we're seeing Lamar Jackson in 4 weeks. It was 2 weeks before the bye, then this past week. So we're going to see Lamar finally. It's even funnier that they decided to announce today that he's going to play as opposed to last week when we had to freaking wait and find out that he's not playing. So now we know Lamar is in. Before we even get to any props that you're looking at and the one that you actually bet, how do you see this game panning out?
I see it as bad. Like that. I texted someone earlier today that I work with, and I was like, this game is terrible. It's horrible. I hate it. Any way you want to describe it along those lines, I think is acceptable. Where the Dolphins are just a mess of a team, and I would say last week with all the points and the win versus the Atlanta Falcons, I would say that's like a flash in a pan rather than a sign of things to come. I would say that they just caught Kirk Cousins. And they just caught him with their pants down and they put up a bunch of points. That is not an indication of how the Dolphins are going to be playing moving forward. They're a mess of a team. We know that. When it comes to the Ravens, there's, I would say, almost no certainty for me when it comes to props, because you could say Lamar's out there. He was supposed to play last week. He's actually playing this week. Does that mean he's fully healthy and now he's just going to be going 250, 70 on the ground, whatever it might be? Or is it going to say, hang on, we're going to keep it slow. It's Thursday. He's not coming off a short week, but the rest of the team's coming off a short week. So they just try and keep things simple and come away with the win and then ease back into things. Then they have the mini bye. Then the offense will be firing on all cylinders. There's so many things going on. I have no real strong takes except the one prop that I really do like.
And the one prop that you really do like involves Tua Tagovailoa.
Yeah.
How come he's not going to throw the football?
So first off, both of these teams are bottom 3 in the league when it comes to total plays run per game. Baltimore is sitting at 31st with 55.4. Miami is at 55.5. Running the ball would just be a normal thing to see both of these teams do, especially Derrick Henry against this terrible Miami run defense. I know Bijan Robinson didn't get things going last week, but this is really a spot for them. Oh, Lamar, he's back. Let's just lean on Henry to do his thing. When we look at the Dolphins overall, if you look at the entire season, right now they're sitting, or I should say on the entire season, they're sitting 9th in the league with a 60.1 pass play percentage. But again, that doesn't tell the entire story. If we look over their last 3 games, that has dipped to 55%. So we have a team that is passing the ball only 55% of the time. And they're also one of the teams when it comes to plays run per game, which is at 55. So we're talking about just over 25-ish passing plays for them. And then we need Tua to go to 33, which means they would need to be going over 60-plus plays and really 65-plus plays for me to feel comfortable that Tua is going to push to 33 attempts. So there's nothing that I like suggesting that Tua is going to have a ton of attempts. And last week, he had 26 against Atlanta when they torched him. And I know the game script wasn't in favor of the Falcons, but the fact that he put up that many points, only 26 attempts, I can't buy into 34 or 33 attempts for Tua, I should say.
It's high. That is a high number. And the only reason that I would say that it goes over is because it's prime time and it's a very large spread. It's 7.5. So if you're playing from behind, then wouldn't you be technically throwing the football to try to catch up? Or you think if it gets out of hand, then maybe Tua's not even in the game?
So totally agree that if they are playing from behind, they're going to have to pass more. But I am also under the belief that the Ravens will just try and keep things simple and get back to basics, which is running the ball. Thus, they're just going to keep the ball out of Tua's hands. So he's just not going to have as many bites at the apple to get to 33, even though they may be in a passing game script. He's just literally not going to have enough chances because the clock's not going to be there for him.
From your mouth to God's ears, that the Baltimore Ravens will run the football tomorrow. Again, I keep forgetting. I'm actually putting this game. I go home to my parents' house tomorrow to bring Marley there before I leave on my trip. And I keep forgetting that I'm going to be watching the Ravens game with my dad. He's going to be so mad. He hates watching games with me. He hates it because
Or do you hate watching games with him? Which one is it?
No, he's fine because he doesn't lose hope in the first quarter like I do.
Okay.
As soon as it happens, if the Ravens come out the gates and throw the football, I'll probably be mad. I'm just kidding.
I would have to assume first play that they have will be a run play or play action of Mark Andrews. Those are the only outcomes, I think.
Gosh, who would score a touchdown tomorrow?
I don't know. FanDuel has that promo going again. There's reason to buy into Mark Andrews just because the number's so good at 175. Isaiah Likely at 240, but it is pretty thin. I could talk myself into Ollie Gordon at 430 for the Dolphins just because he's a bigger back and they like to use him inside the 10, inside the 5.
Ooh, okay. And then in the NFL, just going forward, going into this weekend, any teams, prop trends that you've been trying to attack?
So normally avoiding receivers when it comes to Broncos or Texans, receivers going against those defenses.
Mm-hmm. But they've been so good.
But if Nico Collins is back for the Texans, Pat Surtain is out for the Broncos. So he's going to avoid that shadow coverage. And that really could open things up. And, CJ Stroud looked good last week. And their offensive line has been terrible this year. He has not been passing efficiently. But if they get a weakened Broncos secondary and we see Nico Collins back, that is going to be something very interesting. And then what do the Chargers do on offense against the Titans? Kamani Vidal is not someone I truly like, but can they just tear apart this secondary? And we see Ladd, QJ, who put up a 0 last week, and Keenan Allen all go for like 60+ and multiple touchdowns.
Joseph Rodriguez, you were reading my mind. I was going to ask what Tom thought about the upcoming Bills and Chiefs game, 4:25 on Sunday. 52.5, honestly, for the way these two have gone head to head, seems kind of low.
It does. I would say you have to have, like, if you like the Chiefs, I would just play them on the money line. I wouldn't lay the -1.5. Just play the money line. It's -126. If you like the Bills, obviously just take the points, take the money line. Part of me just wants to dive into Allen and Mahomes props, just because,
Like
again,
pass attempts overs.
I just don't know who. Sometimes we don't know who they're going to pass the ball to. Like, we know when things are getting condensed in KC. Like, Hollywood Brown got pushed out the other night, and it's really just going to be Rice, Worthy, Kelsey, and then a few other players. But sometimes it's not going to be a lot of Kelsey, as we saw last night or 2 nights ago with 99 yards. It could be a little more Worthy.
That was so obvious, though, because the matchup just was so good for a tight end.
Right. It was. But it's sometimes if Kelsey takes a step back, it's going to be more Worthy or Rice. I don't want to be wrong, but I know it could just be right on Mahomes. I could just be right on Allen when they have 6 players that are above a 12% target share in Buffalo, but they're all under 20. It's Shakir, Coleman, Kincaid, Cook out of the backfield, mixing Palmer, mixing all these other receivers. I don't know who's going to throw the ball, but how he's going to be throwing it.
I know that it might be a little early. You always like to post on X your anytime touchdown score for the weekend. Do we have one yet?
I don't. I think it's a bounce back spot for the 49ers. I think that's pretty simple.
Isn't it kind of crazy to see the Niners just laying 2.5 against the Giants?
It is. It's only that. There's nothing that stands out to me right now thus far.
Okay.
It's easy to back someone without digging into the odds. It's easy to back someone like Puka coming back. It's probably going to be a pretty short number, like 110. Devontae. I wouldn't mind going to Brian Thomas Jr. His name has been popped up in rumors about him being traded. They say they want to keep him. They're going up against the Raiders. He should have a big game against the Raiders. I really do like that spot. So maybe something like that. And if Jacoby gets traded, I guess they did just sign Tyler Lockett. So maybe Tyler Lockett is a fun one for the Raiders now that he's back with Geno. That's
true, because he at least has familiarity with a quarterback. Yeah. I was going to say, it's kind of hard to learn an offensive scheme in a week.
It is. He has familiarity with Carroll, so maybe he's out there for 30% of the snaps. But when he's out there, they're targeting him in very simple routes.
Mark saying he wants Cook 2+ TDs this week.
Casey's got a good run defense. I'd be more interested in. Again, I think it's just Allen. I'd rather just take Allen on passing, rushing combined.
Yeah. Passing, rushing, combined against Kansas. I could see that. There's just going to be a lot of throwing the football in this matchup because that's exactly what these two do best. And it's always a shootout, it feels, between the Bills and the Chiefs.
It's good under the radar answer. Rashad Smith.
Yeah, he finally had an off week. And when I say off week, I mean a not good week. So I feel like he has to bounce back.
Mahomes likes
getting a lot of those touches.
And that's more important than anything. And yes, no Pacheco, all big things. I think honestly it comes down to Kareem Hunt inside the 20s and Hunt near the goal line, but Rashad Smith in between the 20s. And
that's what's going to make it hard for me to bet that, because now without Pacheco, how are we going to see the passing game change out of the backfield with Rashard Smith and Kareem Hunt? Because it's been Rashard Smith.
Yeah, I think it's a great look to get some action on Smith, assuming the number's good. Yeah, not just blindly.
Always bet good numbers. Tom Vecchio brings us all those great numbers and all the great analysis every single week. And he's going to be filling in for me next Thursday and Friday, filling you guys in on all the big sports. And he'll make sure to cover, of course, the upcoming NFL weekend. Tom Vecchio, Tom_Vecchio1. Make sure to give him a follow. Thank you so much. And thank you for filling in for me next week. I'm excited to watch.
Yep, I'll be hosting next week on Thursday and Friday. Normal stuff. We'll run through the card. I'll give you what I like. I'll answer your questions. And we'll keep it simple.
Thanks, Tom. Good luck tonight.
Same to you.
Oh, that's messed me up because I put Tom in full when I thought my dog was choking on a toy. She kind of was. I ended up seeing the toy was completely destroyed. She's got big teeth. I don't know why Coach is all dressed up today. I don't know. We're going to have to ask him. I see him in the green room. Coming up now on the show, I have no clue how the hell this is going to go. I don't know what he's angry about this week. I think his rant saved the Jets season. I think that Woody Johnson heard him. He's probably still pissed because the Knicks lost to the Bucks. Let's bring him on. Coach James Young joining the show. Why are you dressed up today?
You know what? Ariel, Good afternoon. And that's such a lovely plug. Hi, everybody. It's Coach Young. The reason why I'm dressed up is starting this week, I've started a new venture with Sports Grid. Debuted Monday taping, Tuesday released pro basketball today. I'm actually just taking a break from taping college basketball today, which is kind of our season preview with college basketball. We'll talk about the top 5 teams in the men's and women's game. I'll focus a little bit more on those top 3 teams preseason: Purdue, Houston, and obviously the defending national champion Florida Gators. We'll talk a little bit about Cam Boozer, AJ DeBanza. I'll give you some of my thoughts on what's wrong with the NCAA, which is a whole fucking lot because they don't have any idea what they're doing in regards to rules and what's allowed and what's not allowed. And you get 4 years, you get 5 years. The JUCO kids' years counted and not count. G League guys go to G League. Now they can come back to college basketball, but now all the coaches know about it, and then they're all fighting. So, yeah, we'll have fun with college basketball today, which I'm taping now, which will be out tonight or tomorrow at 4:30. I think it will air on Sports Grid.
Speaking of what's allowed and not allowed, is it a new thing now at Sports Grid that you have to wear a suit?
You know what the funny thing is, Ariel? Like, usually when I was doing college basketball, when I was doing betting above the rim, I would just literally just be in a T-shirt and whatever. So I just decided that, you know what, Coach Young is going to go all corporate and shit. So I'm going to put a little jacket, on. Usually when I go on air, I'm going to do that. But since you're like so well dressed all the time, I'm like, fuck it. I'm gonna put a jacket on and I'm going to make my shit look sharp. I think I look.
I mean, I like it. I like it.
Pushing 50. I even look. I shaved this morning. I mean, you can see how glistening. It's shiny today.
It's shiny.
Yeah, cut it down. I'm ready to go. I still got just me. Listen. If you've ever seen me ever coach, don't get it twisted.
Corporate coach.
Yeah, corporate coach, J-Rod. But don't get the shit twisted. I still got that fire even with a suit on. I may even throw my suit off in a little bit.
But don't take it all off, Coach. That's not what people are looking for.
Family-friendly show until my mouth starts.
Until your mouth starts, and then we get kicked
off.
Oh,
by the way, time out. I got 5 left. Vecchio's hosting the show, but I'm not. I mean, yo, can Unk's in there, J-Rod's in there. Could someone back me up? Coach and come on and co-host with Tom Vecchio. Someone back me up. Someone, can I get an amen from the congregation? Someone give me an amen in there? No, maybe not. I don't know. All right. How you doing?
Hey, you have a busy schedule. You just launched a new show. I wasn't going to do this. And you also told me that you can't usually come on at 5 o'clock. You always are coaching.
Yeah, well, listen, man, this struggle is real, Ariel.
Don't blame me when I know your schedule. I'm very aware.
Listen, Juliana and especially Maddie, who says hello, by the way. Hi. You know how much them 2 girls cost me that damn money with the dance and the gymnastics and the swim and especially me buying them clothes. So Daddy's got a hustle right now. This is just the way it is.
Your Knicks should hustle more. They end up losing to the
Oh, my God. The fucking – yeah. Let me tell you something. Did y'all see how the entire New York fan base has turned on Karl Anthony Towns in 24 hours? Oh, we love Cat. We love Cat. That motherfucker sucks. Get him out of here. Trade him for Giannis. Trade him for Cam Reddish. Trade him for a bag of basketballs. Trade him for Paul George. Now I'm going to trade him for Paul George. But they're trying to run this guy out of town. Listen, at the end of the day, I think New York they're not going to be good as their whole until they get Mitchell Robinson back. I think Cat excels better when he's got a really big to protect. Kind of the way they had Rudy Gobert, right? Or the way that obviously other bigs have benefited from a big next to him. Looking like a guy like Alfred Sengun, now it's Steven Adams in the starting lineup next to him. I also think people understand what Deuce McBride brings to the team. The Knicks are going to be fine. That was a good win by Milwaukee. But at the end of the day, I'm still fucking fading the Bucks. I do not think they're very good.
How does Giannis look with Miles Turner? How has that changed the way both of them have played?
Well, listen, Miles has to be a little bit more aggressive. What it doesn't really change.
Miles is never aggressive,
right? But I think what you get, respectfully, Ariel, is Miles Turner is basically a younger Brook Lopez. So maybe he goes into the post a little bit more, but him being at the 3-point line really still gives Giannis driving lane. So it really doesn't change Giannis that much in his game. It's the same player. It's just one that's younger, a little bit better, and a little bit more athletic, and Miles Turner over Brook Lopez.
Well, how are we supposed to approach Miles Turner props?
I mean, shit. It used to be, attack the props of Brook Lopez over rebounds, and you're asking a guy to get 5.5 rebounds a game. It's a slam dunk. You have to see how they play it out. Because at the end of the day, Doc will still not be afraid to go small ball and put Bobby Portis at the 5 as well. He's already done that and showed that early this year. So I think you have to look at how they're going to incorporate Bobby Portis in regard to that, because there's a trust that Doc has with Bobby Portis. You can obviously tell that.
Before we get into your card tonight, there was one thing that was very apparent to me as I was looking at props.cash. Nikola Jokic is yet to go over, I think, a points prop. I have to double check that, but I'm pretty sure he's gone under tonight's points prop, which is pretty high in all 3 games so far. What's going on with Jokic?
I don't think there's anything going on with Jokic. I think Jamal Murray went off 1 game. Aaron Gordon hit 10 threes, which is still the funniest story of all time, that his 10 3-pointers was the most made by a debut of the season since who, right? Terry Rozier. Go figure that shit out. In the list of you can't make it up. Couldn't he make 11 to have the record? So we have to talk about Terry Rozier anymore. But yeah, I mean, listen, I'm not concerned with Denver. I don't like what I've gotten out of Cam Johnson so far. I feel he's got to be better, but they're going to figure it out. They're still right now, to me, in my opinion, well, maybe not. I was going to say the biggest threat in the West to Oklahoma City, but God fucking damn it, we may have to talk about San Antonio, because they are bludgeoning people so far at the beginning of the season.
They are, and their defense has been fantastic so far. Pretty sure it's number 1 in points allowed so far this season, Coach.
Yeah, I mean, listen, when you got fucking Inspector Gadget with his go-go gadget arms, how old are you? You're like 31. You don't know about
I know Inspector Gadget.
You do?
Oh,
yeah, of course. So go-go gadget arms.
That one was in my time.
So there you go. But at the end of the show was the beginning of your life here. But in regards to that team,
I don't have De'Aaron Fox yet.
Can I tell you something? Ready for this? They're going to be better without him. They're going to be better without him. I think eventually that backcourt, and it's so scary. Like, they start Devin Vassell and Stephon Castle in the backcourt, and you could argue that Dylan Harper has been as good or better than both of those guys.
But don't you feel that star talent helps you down the stretch of the season and in the playoffs?
The fuck is De'Aaron Fox won? He ain't won shit.
He's still been around, though.
Yeah. Listen.
These are young. You're talking about other guys that are not normal day-to-day starters. Maybe they can be, but they never became one yet.
Maybe. But you also got to remember De'Aaron Fox was at the home court advantage against the Golden State Warriors in a 3-6 game and got his ass lit up by Steph Curry for a 50 burger at home. So there's also that. So, no, I mean, listen, at the end of the day, Ariel, it doesn't matter if it's De'Aaron Fox, Red Fox, I don't care, Jimmy Fox who played baseball, I don't care what fucking Fox it is. If Wemby's getting you 33, 13, 5 blocks, 4 assists, 55% from the floor and 40% from 3, we all can go the fuck home. They can do whatever the fuck they want if he's doing that.
Coach, you do have some plays for tonight, so let's bring them on the screen.
Yes. Franz. I'm going right to
Franz Wagner.
Franz Wagner over 21.5 points over 3 to 4 games to start the season. Over the last 2 versus the Pistons have not looked good, particularly defensively to start the year, which is kind of crazy. But I do like him tonight. One thing I would worry about is who guards who, right? Between Tobias Harris and Asor Thompson, does Asor go to Banchero or does Asor go to Wagner? I still think Wagner can get enough, give me over 21.5 points. Onyeka Okongwu over 8.5 rebounds for the Atlanta Hawks. Now, he's got double-digit rebounds over the last 2 games. Nets are in the middle of the league of rebounds allowed per game, so that means he's got to board. 8+ rebounds in his last 5 matchups versus the Nets. And if you really look at Onyeka, if I'm not mistaken, he had a really good playoff in that couple of games with Atlanta. I think he can do some things. Onyeka Okongwu over 8.5 rebounds. Rui Hachimura over 1.5 made threes. 2+ made threes in 3 to 4 games this year. Other game was a dud. Remember, last year, 5-game series versus Timberwolves, 4 out of 5 games, Rui Hachimura hit over 1.5 made threes. Plays.
I'm going to stop you there. I love Rui tonight. Everyone's been on Austin Reeves. He's been fantastic. At what point, because Reeves' prop now is up to 29.5 and Rui stayed around 15.5 points. At what point is Reeves' prop too high?
It's just about there.
I feel like you're going to bet one or the other. Rui's number is a better bet.
Well, what I would do is, I'm also thinking about this. If I'm Finch, right, I'm loading up the lane. I'm blitzing, or we call it either blitzing or hotting every ball screen with Austin Reeves, which means I double it, get it out of there. Hachimura is in that corner 3. That's why I like Hachimura. Not because of what Austin Reeves isn't doing, but what he is doing. And I expect teams to load up on him. That number, just because he maybe can get to 30 if the other guys aren't scoring, which is DeAndre Ayton and Hachimura. I'm banking on them being a little bit better tonight. Particularly
how have you liked Ayton recently? He's been crushing it on the boards without LeBron and Luka.
Which guy?
DeAndre Ayton.
Oh, denominating. I mean, listen. I was the president and founder of the DeAndre Ayton fan club. I will be completely honest with you. But
you had a MySpace page.
In my MySpace or wherever you want to look at it, TikTok, whatever. What do the kids use? Snapchat. That's what they call it. Snapchat. Yeah, I'm a big fan of DeAndre Ayton. Listen, at the end of the day, Ariel, this is his last chance. If he doesn't do it this year in LA, he's going to be I wouldn't say out of the league, but this is his last chance to be a front court player that could score and do some things. And I firmly expect him, if he plays right, DeAndre Ayton could be a 15-10 guy for the Lakers, even when LeBron comes back.
He should be a 15-10 guy because that's what he's getting paid to do. Julius Randle is big in the chat today. Since the start of the show, a lot of people have been saying they've been loving Julius Randle so far this year. What have you seen out of Randle, and how would you play Randle tonight?
Well, Julius has been pretty good. I'm going to go to my trusted Props.Cash app. If you don't have Props.Cash, please download it today. I think Ariel has a code.
Prop Queen.
Prop Queen, please use the code. So I'm going to go ahead and talk my boy in Julius Randle. By the way, shout out to Julius Randle. He openly said that he was probably smoking too much weed back in New York, and he has been such a better player.
Shocker.
Since then.
Keep your body healthy, and then you do better. Shocker.
Yes. So let's go to NBA here. Let me take this out.
I'll pull up some Julius Randle as well.
Mine's going a little slow. This is why JY has technology, and he goes from the computer to the iPad, because sometimes.
Julius Randle.
Yeah, what do you got?
I'll share the screen. Julius Randle, Props.Cash. Nope, that's your props, and we'll get to the sides in a minute. Why are we? There we are. Okay, so Julius Randle's at 20. Why are we frozen?
See, it wasn't just me.
You were frozen too?
Yeah.
Oh no, maybe Props.Cash is down.
Oh.
That's sad. I think Props.Cash is down. Yours is slow too, right?
Yeah, mine's slow. I'm going to go in through another way. No, but listen.
Okay. Let's just
well, really quick. Julius Randle has to take on a lot more of the scoring load. The folks with Anthony Edwards being out for 2 weeks. And this is someone that obviously can play, a lot of ISO ball. Julius Randle. And I have another way. I'm going to see if I can pull up Randle here so I can kind of walk everybody through what I think about Julius. All right, so Julius Randle, you're looking at.
J-Main says he's gone over his points prop every game.
Yeah, it's looking at 37.5 points, rebounds, and assists. You're looking at 29.5 points plus assists. Points prop looking at 24.5. You kind of look at it. He went over his points prop. He went under 24.5, but went over his points prop, which was 22.5. So it's gone up 2 points since the last game. 2 games before that, he had 31, and then he had the Lakers for 26. I would take a look at Randle, because if you got 26 with Ant in the lineup, getting 24.5 without Ant seems like a play. Julius Randle should be on your card tonight as well. Good call.
Ooh, I like it. Okay, we're going Joyce Randall. And then you like the Rockets -5.5. I love the Rockets. I know people were a little down because of no Van Vliet. However, the Rockets are taking on the Toronto Raptors tonight in Toronto. How come you're laying the points? Clearly, Mark also, by the way, wanted to do this whole Toronto parlay, but clearly Coach is anti the Toronto parlay, Mark.
Yeah, well, I go Blue Jays. I'll tell you that much. Rockets -5.5. Listen, they did not get off to a great start in the year, but that last one winning by 28 points. Toronto's come a little bit back to the pack. They were so impressive opening night with their road win at Atlanta. But I think Houston's a better team. They swept the season series last year. They're going to get going. I'm going to take Houston -5.5. You know what? Not look good as well is Boston. I know they won their last game, but Cleveland -3.5 seems like a layup to me. When I look at Cleveland, I think they're the better team. And the biggest deficiency with Boston is their front court play with Boucher and Keita. And then you have obviously Evan Mobley and obviously Jarrett Allen in the front court, and then DeAndre Hunter coming off the bench. That's a lot of length in that lineup that I don't think Boston's going to be able to contend with. Give me the Cavs -3.5. And then lastly, I'm going with the Fighting Chaunceys. The Blazers on the money line tonight.
Fighting Chaunceys. You know, my
dude,
group chat name in my one of my gambling group chats is what's it called today? They change the name all the time. It's called Chauncey's Defense Fund.
Okay, all right. And by the way, people are saying that the spread is down. Jay Rod says -2 for the Cavs. If the Cavs are now money line, just take a money line. Anytime it's 2.5 or less, I just go money line. That's why it's the Blazers on the money line, because I saw earlier today when I looked, the Blazers were 3-point favorites. That's why I went money line about -146 or so. But they're looking at, people are saying in the chat too, no Jakob Poeltl. If no Jakob Poeltl is in the lineup, that's going to obviously hurt them in the rebounding battle with Steven Adams and Alperen Sengun. So that'd be another reason why you should look at Houston. But I am big on Portland. I'm really big on Portland. I know they're 2-2.
You've been big on them since preseason.
They've had a difficult schedule to start the year, but they've got 2 wins. I just like this team. I think Thiago Splitter will do a good job. They have a wealth of talent. I know people are going to look at that Utah game opener when they throttled the Clippers. Did you see the Clippers last night? When they played Golden State, it was on the second leg of a back-to-back and won by 30. There's things got to be figured out there with the Clippers. I'm not believing Utah at all. I'm fading them like the Chicago Sky. Give me the Blazers on the money line tonight.
Fading like the Chicago Sky. Coach, thank you so much. Tell everybody about the new shows that you've got coming up and what times and where they can find it.
Yeah, so Pro Basketball Today always tapes on Monday afternoons. It'll be released on Tuesday on Sports Grid at 4:30, wherever you watch Sports Grid on TV. It will be released via podcast form, Apple, Spotify, Audio Boom. That comes out usually Monday nights. I'm actually now recording College Basketball Today. That is filming right now, and then that will come out tomorrow, same time, 4:30 release time on Sports Grid. Then you can get it where you can find it. But it's going to be a little bit different, guys. It is no gambling talk. It's basically my talk, my thoughts on everything on the world of basketball. I can just tell you, expect some big guests. Within the next couple of weeks, Ian Begley from SNY, possibly Stan Van Gundy's coming on, Michelle Beadle's coming on, John Fanta may be coming on, Jeff Goodman may be coming on, Tim Capstraw, radio voice of the Brooklyn Nets, are coming on. So look for that as a little bit of a different way of getting me more as a coach and me telling you my thoughts with some heavy-hitting guests as we go through the season.
Coach James Young, follow him over at Coach Young NJ on social media. We appreciate you. We love you. Thanks for coming on, and I'll see you in a couple weeks because I'm going away.
Well, enjoy your trip. I'm co-hosting on Thursday and Friday. Fuck Tom Vecchio. I just said it. And be sure to check out my show. Follow me at Coach Young NJ on social media. Bye, Felicia.
Bye. We love Coach. Time to do the prep queen edges of the day in the NBA. We've got to put a Prizepicks lineup together as well. I have to do that. I have to figure that out. But first, let's get to those prop queen edges of the day in the NBA. Let me see, by the way, if I've got anything NBA futures. I'm just trying to see if we've got propaganda somewhere. World Series. That was today. Yeah, okay. Let's do it. We've got some propaganda. Some of the most bet on props today. Let me just add this. I just screenshotted it, so it's not going to look all fancy. Some of the most bet on props today. Blake Snell under strikeouts. Ohtani a homer. Ohtani over half a hit. Vladdy homer and Miles Straw over a half a hit. That's interesting. Actually shocked we haven't seen some Will Smith in there or Mookie Betts. So people think that Ohtani bounces back. I say Ohtani needs a freaking day off, and Ohtani needs to take tomorrow, enjoy it, and then travel to Toronto. Blake Snell under K's fine just because Toronto doesn't strike out a lot, but wasn't it his last start that, let me just get Blake Snell's last start up real quick to see his exact numbers so I don't say anything wrong. Against Toronto, yeah, he went under his last start, and I don't do unders in back-to-back spots. Granted, oh God, I hate that ESPN always plays these noise. 5 innings, 5 runs, 4 Ks for Snell last time out. I'm not doing it again. We could go, yes, fade, smell. I don't really I'm so over the World Series when it comes to betting. We're down the stretch now where early on in the series, you can let starters go because you've got a few games left to go. You want your starters to go a little long. Bullpens are unreliable for these two, but the bullpens have actually been okay. There's an off day tomorrow. They'll pull pitchers quickly if they need to with the off day tomorrow. And then the only other props that we were looking at, Will Smith was doing well over his hits, runs, RBI. Mookie Betts over hits, runs, and RBI was doing pretty well. Vladdy obviously over hits, runs, and RBI was doing well. Trying to just see if there's anyone else that I like to maybe. Oh, props.cash is back. No, it's glitching. Damn it. It says upgrade. I hate when props does. Oh, God. Okay, it's glitching. So I can't even show you guys props.cash today. I was awake also until 3 a.m. But I do have NBA props for tonight. Again, Major League Baseball. If you want to bet any of those players, go for it between Mookie, Will Smith, Vladdy. I know Springer's banged up right now. And then Jimenez. Those were the ones that have been the most profitable when it comes to hits, runs, and RBI props. Pitcher props, I'm just staying away because I think anyone could get pulled at any given moment. NBA props for tonight. I gave these out in the premium newsletter this morning on thepropqueen.com, which you could subscribe. And by the way, I'm doing a discount on the propqueen.com newsletter because I'm not doing a newsletter next week. So you can do 25% off if you sign up so 25% off for the month of November if you sign up this week, because there's not going to be a newsletter next week, but for the rest of the month of November, there will be one. So you're getting it at a discounted rate for 3 of the 4 weeks of November. So again, sign up for the propqueen.com newsletter and you get 25% off this month if you do end up signing up for it. And Matt will also be having his newsletter still going out next week. I am taking a week off. I freaking need it. Let's start with Michael Porter Jr. over 19.5 points at even money. He's gone over this in 3 of his last 4 games against the Hawks, and Atlanta's allowed the 10th most points per game this year, 4th most last year. You can also look to Cam Thomas. He actually does play better on the road than at home, so that's why I thought maybe MPJ tonight. However, Cam Thomas, he is averaging about 25 points a game since the start of last year when coming off a day off. The Nets have only played 1 home game this season, and Cam Thomas did put up 33 in that spot. 6 of the 9 shooting guards to face the Hawks have gone over their points prop this year. And again, the Hawks have been so bad defensively. And if you do want a trend, Trae Young's gone over 23.5 points in all 5 games against Brooklyn since the start of November. The Nets have allowed the most points per game this season to opposing teams. Nikola Jokic, I'm high on today, over 39.5 P plus R. Jokic has hit this over in 5 of 6 games against the Pelicans since the start of 2023. Jokic is averaging just under 42 points plus rebounds against the Pels since then. He's averaging 42 at home since the start of last year, going over points plus rebounds in 70% of those games. I know he's been off to a slow start, but it's a really good spot for him. And the Pelicans have been bottom 10 in points and rebounds allowed since the start of last year. Jordan Poole, over 2.5 made threes. He's the Pelicans' leading 3-point shooter. Poole's made at least 3 threes in all 3 games this year. He's hit the over 2.5 in 3 of 4 against Denver, including 2 straight in Denver. And the Nuggets have allowed the 10th most threes per game to start the season, and they were a bottom 10 perimeter defense last year. 5 of the 7 shooting guards to face Denver this season have gone over their 3-point prop. So I would be looking to Jordan Poole over 2.5 made threes. Shaedon Sharpe was an interesting assist prop that I saw. He's gone over this in 6 of 8 games against Utah since the start of last year. The Blazers have had a tough matchup against the Warriors, the Clippers, the Lakers, and I know you've got Drew Holiday, but Utah should be an easier matchup for them to get some buckets, leading to more scoring and dishing the ball out more. So the Jazz have allowed the 2nd most assists per game this year and the most last year. So I would be looking at Shaedon Sharpe to go over 2.5 assists. Tonight, just like Coach, I'm very much high on Rui Hachimura. His prop's still 15.5. And Austin Reeves is so high now at 29.5. And look, they've both been going over. Rui had 16 and 18 without Luka and LeBron. Reeves had a massive 2 games, 51 and 41 without Luka and LeBron. However, when you look at the record, and I know that Minnesota doesn't have Anthony Edwards, but when you look at both these players, Rui Hachimura has had 18, 30, and 9 points against Minnesota, while Austin Reeves had 20, 14, and 18. So for the matchup with as many big guys as there are in Minnesota, is this worth it for Reeves, who's going to struggle to drive in the paint against these bigs? So I'm just saying, I know that you guys like Austin Reeves, but I might be leaning more towards Rui Hachimura, a bigger guy who could shoot some threes in this matchup. Ja Morant, he's gone over 25.5 points in all 3 games last year against Phoenix. He had 26, 29, and 29 points. KCP over 8.5. This is a very low number. In 4 of the last 5, he went over this against the Suns. The Suns' 3rd most points per game allowed this year, 10th most last year. So the Suns' defense has definitely been struggling. I had Ja under points last night. Yeah, last night. Isn't this a back-to-back? I bet Ja under, was that 2 nights ago? Maybe 2 nights ago was the Ja under, I guess. Some point this week I gave out Ja under. So I'm a little worried. Yeah, it was against Golden State. And Ja ended up, I think that was a 25.5 point prop. And Ja ended up with 23 in that game. So I don't know if I could be willing to go back to a Ja under. It was already kind of risky. But a couple days ago, Ja went under as well. KCP assist prop has been hitting. Okay. Joker under points lean. I'm just telling you it's a really good matchup, and he's had a lot of success against New Orleans. Grayson Allen threes or Devin Booker points. Yeah, that team definitely an injured mess right now. What else? There's so much volume. Yeah, for sure Reeves has a lot of volume in the offense right now. So does Rui. Dylan Brooks out. Tomorrow you still have that horse guy. Yes, Mark. I have the horse guy coming on tomorrow to talk Breeders' Cup. I'm going to also have Mark Zeno on to talk some college football and NFL preview, and maybe we'll talk a little more World Series. But yes, we are going to be joined by a good friend of my friend, Sam Panayanovich, and his name's Colin Sheen, and he's going to come on and talk Breeders' Cup with us. He comes highly recommended. So we will definitely talk Breeders. He already sent me a whole long list of stuff. I'm like, dude, I don't speak this language. So you're just going to come on and you're going to go off about ponies. Horse guy. Ponies guy. I like saying ponies. Ponies is much better. So those were all my NBA leans of the day. Check me out at Prizepicks at the Prop Queen or on Pickett at the Prop Queen, and you can see what I end up posting for my lineup today on Prizepicks. I'm going to post it to my X page as well after the show. I just have to figure out which ones I like the best. Good luck to all of your bets tonight. I'm going to have to do some Royal Locks as well, but I really hate this time of year. I really hate it. Like, I hate that nobody likes to play in the NBA. Everybody's hurt. World Series is winding down and getting a lot tougher to handicap. And NFL we'll have tomorrow. So tomorrow we'll talk Thursday Night Football with Mark Zeno. We will talk a preview of this upcoming week in college football in the NFL. And we will talk Breeders' Cup all tomorrow on my last show of the week. Then Mid-Major Matt going to fill in for me on Friday and Monday. Tom Vecchio filling in Thursday and Friday next week. But tomorrow is my last show so that I can go on vacation and forget about all of you. Just kidding. But I kind of want to forget about everything for a week. It's the best. And my Ravens play tomorrow, so they can't ruin my Sunday on the beach. It's like the perfect time for my team to play the day before I leave. So whether they win or they lose, I don't have to care about them on Sunday. It's going to be great. I will see you all tomorrow, though, here on the show, 5 p.m. Eastern time for my last show of the week tomorrow. Good luck to your bets.